And also, there is the art of learning. It's a little more complex. I'll go into it. When we go to schools and colleges and universities, we are learning, we are acquiring information, which is called knowledge, about various subjects, in order to have a good career, or a good job, or if you fail, you go to, and so on, which is the accumulation of knowledge during a certain period of time, from the boyhood till you leave university, which is the accumulation of knowledge which can be used skillfully or otherwise. If you want to be a plumber, you must be. If you want to be a professor, if you want to be a scientist, if you want to be a mathematician, it's all, the whole process is the same. To learn, which is to accumulate knowledge, and from that knowledge act. Right? And there is also act, and from that action learn, which is also there. Isn't that clear? Of course. Which is the accumulated knowledge and act and learn. Which also, after acting, learning, accumulated knowledge, act. Both are the same, essentially. But also, there is another kind of learning, which is a little more difficult. These two we know. Accumulated knowledge and act and having acted, learn from your action, which becomes the knowledge, and so both are the same. Now we are saying something entirely different, because this is mechanical. Are you following all this? Because this is a process of acting from the known. The conductor, the pianist, the plumber, the fiddler, the professor, the scientist, all these have accumulated knowledge and act. Therefore, they are moving from the known to the known to the known to the known, modifying all the time. Right? Now we are saying there is a different way of learning. I don't know if you are interested in this, because this requires a little more thinking together. One sees the accumulation of knowledge is necessary to drive a car and so on. So if you want to build a bridge, you must know the whole stresses and the strains and the quality of the earth and so on, so on. That is, our mind has been informed, acquired knowledge, and acting from there. This is the everlasting movement of man. You understand? That is, gather information, knowledge, act. So the knowledge is the past, of course. And from that knowledge you act. This is clear, isn't it? Right? We must meet together, otherwise I'm talking to myself, which is no good. I can do that in my room. So we are saying there is a different kind of learning, which hasn't its root in the known. Right? In the known, in the sense, knowledge and acting. see the difference. I'm going to point out carefully this. There is acquiring knowledge and then acting from it. So there is action modifies the knowledge modifies the action. This is what we are doing all the time. Therefore, it becomes routine, mechanical. There's never a freedom to inquire into something which is not known. A freedom from the known to observe something you do not know. You follow? I wonder if you know. Are we meeting each other? A little bit. So, to the speaker, ascent of man does not lie in the accumulated knowledge. Right? Listen to it first. Don't agree or disagree. First listen. We have people, scientists, others have said man can only evolve by having more and more knowledge. Climbing ascent. But knowledge is always the past. And if there is no freedom from the past, his ascent will be always limited. Right? It will always be confined to a particular pattern. So we are saying, look, and we are saying there is a different way of learning, which is to see comprehensively, holistically, the whole movement of knowledge, right? Where it is necessary, because otherwise you couldn't live. But in the very understanding of its limitation is to have insight into the whole movement of knowledge. I don't know if I've conveyed anything at all. I'll go into it. Probably most of you have never thought even about this. We have taken knowledge as factual and live with knowledge and go on functioning with knowledge for the rest of our life. But we have never inquired what is knowledge itself, what is its relationship to freedom, what is its relationship to the actual happening. You see, we have taken all this for granted. That's part of our educational conditioning. So we are saying, when you begin to inquire into the whole movement of knowledge, which is time, which is thought, and see the limitations of knowledge, for knowledge is always in the past and therefore fragmentary. You can add to it, take away from it, enlarge it, limit, but it's always the movement of the past modifying itself. And so in that movement, there's never freedom. And this, you may not have gone into this, right? So this may be new to you, so please kindly listen to find out. Not to agree or disagree, find out. We are saying, in that field, there is no freedom for man. You may be able to have better bathrooms, better heating system, solar, and so on, so on, so on. But psychologically, inwardly, there is no freedom. If the mind is constantly being driven or held or in bondage to the past. So, is there a way of learning which is not in merely acquiring knowledge? You understand my question? I wonder if you see. Please listen. Is there a way of looking, learning, hearing, which is not the constant accumulation of knowledge from which to act? Is there an action which is not bound by the past? I'll put it this way, then perhaps you will understand each other. You understand? That is, I acquired knowledge, there is the acquisition knowledge, and from that knowledge act. And in that action, that very action is limiting itself. It's not holistic. It's not the whole. There are regrets, there are all kinds of travail in that action coming to be. Now we're asking, is there an action which hasn't its roots in the past? Because if my action is born of the past, it's always limited, it's always broken up. It's never complete, whole. So is there an action which is free from the past? You understand my question? Just understand the question, then we can go into it. You may say that question is silly, it has no meaning. But it has meaning when you see the whole complexity of knowledge and its limitation. And the action that's born out of this limitation must be limited, and therefore confusing. And therefore, out of this knowledge, a good society can never come into being. You get it? So we are asking, is there action without the movement of the past? I say there is, which is to have an insight into the whole structure of knowledge. Insight, a deep understanding, total comprehension of this whole thing. Knowledge, action, limited, no freedom, therefore out of that there can be no good society. To see that, the truth of it, the perception of that truth is the release of a different kind of learning which is holistic. I wonder if you get this.